first presenter for the second half. His name is Adam Hammis. Did I get it? He is a sustainability consultant, best-selling author, and a speaker. His 1 Million Minds campaign is a commitment to help social and environmental advocates everywhere transform their ability to make a difference in the world. Let's give him a big round of applause.
So, are you an advocate? And that's the question that I ask people, and I hope that you are, because we have plenty of financial, social, and environmental issues that the world needs your caring and compassion on. But sometimes that can be overwhelming. It can be a burnout type of a situation. So I'm here to let you know, if you know yourself, know a strategy, and know your audience, that you can make a difference. You can literally transform the world. And so first step of knowing yourself is emotional intelligence. And if you can deal with difficult emotions when they arise, then you are going to be more productive than anyone else. And so I'm going to share with you 3 easy to remember stages of emotions, which is polar bear, killer bee, and sea otter, because I'm a environmentalist. And so stage 1 is a polar bear, and it's what's known as a vulnerable species. And so I'll say that when I was a child growing up on a farm in southeast Iowa as an environmentalist in a large Catholic family, I felt a little limited, and I was afraid of, being different, but I was also sad. I couldn't express myself fully with my family, and what was missing was that trusted group to be a part of that I could be open with. Killer bee, moved on to college, and I was traveling a lot. I was a little more aggressive after I lost a close friend, studied environmental issues, and I was really angry that I didn't see these things being worked on, or I was proud that I knew things other people didn't. But what was missing was me being a local member of that community and also being involved in large collaborative efforts. Sea otter is a keystone species. Keystone, when I moved back to Iowa, I really started to see my advocacy changing because I was a member of a community. I had the courage to put down roots, and I really started to connect with people and accept where they were in life. And what was difficult was dialogue for me, talking to people that thought and felt differently than I did. So burnout, if you want to know a strategy, you have to avoid that burnout, getting overwhelmed. And I'm going to give you 3 myths that are going to hopefully change the way you can be productive with your time and energy, because that stuff is very valuable. Make love to the microphone. So myth 1 is you have to influence every conversation that you're in. When you're passionate about something, don't do that. What's going to turn out is that you're going to be basically exhausted because you're trying to change and fix everyone around you, and it comes off overly critical and turns people off. And what you really want to do is master listening and what makes people tick. The myth 2 is your family and friends, thinking that you have to change your family and friends or you're a failure. That's not true, and it's very draining, because your family and friends are your most important relationships. So have amazing relationships, and then don't be distracted when you go out to do work in the community, and those people will actually be interested in what you have to say when you stop trying to change and fix them. Third is it's urgent, so let's be louder and more, and all that does is turn people off. And so the key is knowing how to prioritize and strategize what you want to do and where you want to spend your time, and that's going to save you a lot of heartache. And so what I'm going to talk about next is starting and working backwards. If you know something you want to do, clearly make a change. Find out what organizations first would be helpful on your campaign, and then go make a list and find individuals in those organizations that you can influence on a one-on-one basis. And don't pick the rebels, pick the trusted, the level-headed people that people already respect, because they're the ones who are going to make a difference for you in your advocacy. The knowing your audience is very important. So if you want to take people through these stages of change that they have to go through, it's key that you give them an approach that they're receptive to. And those stages are contempt, curiosity, and commitment. And so stage 1, I'm going to talk about contempt. It's either very active, where they're opposed to your idea, or it's passive, where they just don't really understand what you're talking about. They're going to ask questions that begin with why, because they really don't see the point. And your approach that is ideal in that situation is just showing them a successful example, whether it's a tour, whether it's a story, or it's a visual that they don't have to argue against. And then when they're in curiosity, stage 2, they see something new as possible, and they're interested and they want to understand it. So they're going to ask what, because they want more information, and then you're going to share with them, sharing credible sources, not that you think it's credible, but they think it's credible. And then the last stage is commitment. When they're actually willing to start taking action themselves because they have enough information, they ask how. Because they're formulating their own personal plan for how to make a difference in their own life. And what you want to do is shape their path, remove barriers, brainstorm ideas, and connect them with the resources they need to make a change. And so the last part is practices that are going to make a difference in your life along this journey that you're going down that I think will really prepare you for what you're going to deal with, and put these in your daily routine. One is change. Exercise, I guess, soccer. Deep breathing and visualization. So deep breathing really calms your body down, and visualization trains you to focus on what you do want to see in the world, not what you don't want to see, which a lot of us can get focused on the negative. One of the next, after deep breathing and visualization, another good practice is adding in something like yoga to your, switch back, meditation. Meditation of any kind. There's all kinds of meditation, but what it's going to do is calm your mind. And your mind is also going to get more focused. So if you can calm and focus your mind, you can actually start to see the inner workings and the thoughts and the emotional reactions that you have, and you have the freedom to work with those and be more productive. Add something like yoga into your practice and your exercise, because traumatic emotions actually get stored in your body in places, and all that tension, if you don't do stretching, you can't really find out where it's at. But if you find out where it's at, you can work with it and release it without just re-experiencing that trauma yourself, like going to, a therapist. Yoga's good therapy. And then find a therapy group. Find a group of friends, a book club, a group of community, but someone who you can trust to hold you accountable, that you're not going to share and open up how you're feeling, and they're just going to be like, yeah, that sucks, man, I hate that person too. They're going to say, hey, I think you might be looking at this a little wrong, I know that you believe in this stuff, and then you can go out and change the world, which I totally believe in you, and you can. And so if you can leverage your emotions, avoid burnout, and influence people, you literally can do anything you want. So I hope that you do, and thank you very much for listening to me today.